Three-game homestand with San Antonio coming in on Tuesday and the Cleveland Cavaliers on Thursday. And it's the Light Show that will introduce the Nuggets.
At guard, 6'1", from LSU, number 3, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. At guard, 6'5", from Virginia, number 23, Brian Stiff. At forward, 6'7", from Georgetown, number 34, Reggie Williams. At the other forward, 6'8", from Notre Dame, number 20, LaFonso Ellis. And at center, 7'2", from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo Philando Wakamba, Jean-Jacques Weber-Tumbo. The Nuggets trainers Jim Gillen, assistant coaches Mike Evans and Gene Littles, and the head coach of your Denver Nuggets, the horse, of course, Dan Issel.
And the horse, of course, reminding the Nuggets of the keys of the game. And Dave, let's go through those keys right now for the Nuggets to pull off a victory here tonight against the Golden State Warriors. And the keys of the game brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Think Ford first. Well, obviously, Rauf's best friends, they'll be going one-on-one tonight. Nuggets start with a basketball. They won 3 out of 4 from the Warriors last year. These two teams met twice in preseason and split the 2 games. Oh, wide open, automatic, no! Abdul-Rauf, a rare miss after hitting 12 of 18 from the field on way to 25 points last night in Los Angeles. There is Alexander staying outside. In it goes to Owens. Alexander in the lane, throws up a right-hander and high off the glass and in.
You'll see Golden State tonight pass the basketball a lot, even without Mullen and Hardaway. Still an excellent passing team.
Alexander averaged 16 a game against Mutombo and the Nuggets last year. Denver 1-0 on their home floor. 2-point victory over the Los Angeles Clippers. Rauf, Nuggets working it around. Only 4 on the shot clock. Reaching over, Mutombo keeps it alive. Stiff pulls the trigger. And this ball game is knotted at 2.
But you saw him start to shoot the basketball better last night. Good job there of getting the loose ball and squaring up to the basket.
Warriors last year, the 3rd highest scoring team in the NBA. Now they have a whistle inside. It is against Alexander. And he's called for his first personal foul. Don Nelson, in his 32nd year in the NBA as a player, head coach, or GM, 17th year as a coach. And he just can't even describe what's going on. Weber gets the block on Stiff, but Stiff, scrappy, keeps it alive. Mutombo almost breaks the backboard. There is Stiff again, banging inside. Brian Stiff at his best, he'll take anybody on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's so strong inside, too strong for guards and a little bit too quick for 3. So Stiff around the basket with good hands in the putback.
Here's Billy Owens out of Syracuse. Weber, no. Ripped down by Mutombo at 24 boards last night. And he is now averaging 15 rebounds per game over the course of the first 4. 2 minutes into the initial period at McNichols Arena. Looks to be the 2nd straight sellout. Ellis a little too far. Loose on the floor. Williams can't hold on. Now Ellis gets a piece of that one. And the Nuggets really scrappy, feeding the Warriors to the ball. Ellis is there. Goes against Weber, who slaps it away. Re-slapped away by Williams for the reverse. Now you see it, now you don't.
2 great jobs there as Weber knocks the ball away from Ellis, and Reggie Williams in turn takes it away from Chris Weber.
After Victor Alexander scored the first basket of the game, Nuggets have come back with 6 straight points. There's Alexander way outside and way off the mark. Owens turnaround. Alexander with the left hand. So Alexander starts it outside and he then ends up inside. 3 minutes into the first quarter. Mutombo has about 5 inches on Alexander. That the sweeping hook has been working for Dikembe in the early going. Sprewell, good 3-point shooter. Only Price and Marley have made more this year. Williams coast to coast. And there's Stith scrapping to get it back. They call him for a foul.
Oh, boy. It looked like Bryant Stith had taken the basketball cleanly. And, in fact, he looked like he was fouled. Reggie Williams coast to coast, hard to the rim with the left hand. It won't go. Now, Stith there with the ball. I guess over the back of Sprewell.
Warriors have the ball, a chance to tie it up. In it goes to Webber. Makes the moves against Ellis, who stuffs him. But Webber, very quick, stays with it. Now it's Mutombo. Rubbing it up is Raouf. Stith stops. Covered by Alexander, so who is on Mutombo? Doesn't matter now.
Well, how about some defense by LaFonso Ellis? Stays down the low blocks with Webber. Takes the head and shoulders fake, leans back to avoid contact, and still gets his hand on the basketball.
You are seeing the start of a classic matchup for many years to come. LaFonso Ellis, Chris Webber. This call goes against the Warriors. And we're still trying to pick it up. Is it on Alexander?
Yep.
And that is 2.
Just a silly foul. Chris Jackson grabbed as he tries to get to the baseline, and Chris Gatling has to come in.
So Victor Alexander is removed very quickly, and so is removed part of the strategy of Don Nelson. Raouf, and that's his 77th straight. And he has now tied Mark Price for the 3rd longest foul shooting streak in NBA history. And he now goes after the streak of 78, and he's got it of Calvin Murphy. Now, this streak of 78 straight foul shots by Calvin Murphy stood for 12 years. And Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf has now tied it. Gatling, wiry, and he gets in there. 8-6, the Nuggets lead it by 2. Mahmoud, 19 of 19 from the foul line this year. Reaching over is Chris Webber. And Webber gets his first foul.
And that's just a learning process. You can do that in college because you're bigger and stronger than most folks, but when Webber tries to reach over the top of a guy like LaFonso Ellis, who continues to maintain that contact, he's going to draw the foul.
Nuggets lead it by 2. Offensive foul. Mutombo knocking Gatling to the ground. Doesn't take much to put a streamlined Chris Gatling on the floor.
Mutombo here will swing in, and Gatling with a pretty good fake job there. They want to get the basketball into Dikembe with Gatling on him, obviously.
Actually, Gatling has put on some pounds. 6'10", now he's at 230. I think he came in the league around 200, 210. And Gatling again draws the foul. He's a very disruptive player. Really gets in your hair. And LaFonso Ellis has his first personal foul. The Warriors, always one of the top scoring teams in the NBA. They have scored 93 points on the nose in each of their last 3 games. Webber, Mutombo with him, and Webber gets position.
Okay, that's a big time move because Dikembe, great shot blocker, was right where he had to be. And Webber still got it up off the glass.
Sprewell is out on Reggie Williams. Now Gatling trying to take Mutombo, looking for the hook. And now looking for the foul. Meanwhile, Owens at 6'9", who handles the ball as well as a guard from behind Mutombo. Sprewell has hit 11 3-pointers, fakes that, and goes for 2. And Dan Issel, after seeing his team aggressively move in front with a 6.
Interesting matchups here tonight. Nuggets trying to take advantage of Gatling covering Mutombo. Warriors trying to pound it inside with Reggie Williams on Billy Owens.
All tied up at 10, so they'll go isolated against Webber from the outside. 2 Nuggets get on Gatling in the 3rd. Bryant Stith sweeps in, and Denver with the ball, looking to take the lead.
Stith now directing the offense, and Mahmoud at the 2.
Flicks the wrist. Squish.
And that's why. Spot him up on the baseline, run him off the pick from baseline to baseline, and he gets a good open shot.
Nuggets had missed 10 of their first 13 shots, and now it's Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf on track. Sprewell. The first 192 minutes of the season, 4 games for the Warriors. Sprewell has played all but 3. Ellis over Webber. Got it. And that is a power move inside by the Fonz. Sprewell played the entire game, 48 minutes in the first and second. They're going to give the basket to Webber. It looks like the ball was on the rim at the time and should have been offensive interference. but the basket will count. Warriors last night against Cleveland led by 1 point at the end of the first half. Then Cleveland outscored them 29-17 in the third quarter to break it open. Ellis too quick to the basket, and he again fouls over. And there's Gatling on the floor one more time, and the foul is drawn by Gatling, number 2 on Ellis.
And again, not a lot of contact there. Gatling should be given credit for getting in the right position. Ellis off the rim, quick, bounced right back up, but gets called for the foul.
So we'll see an early appearance for the Nugget rookie, Rodney Rogers. Some of the best power forwards coming out over the last couple of years. Alfonso Ellis, Chris Webber, Rodney Rogers. Oh, they called a travel on Avery Johnson and not the foul. Now the horn blows. Avery Johnson looking for the foul, won't get it. Rodney Rogers at 6'7" and 260, a behemoth, coming off his best game, double figures last night against Los Angeles. Ellis not happy. He's probably the hardest player on himself. Benny Nugget right up there with Abdul Rauf. Coming out is Billy Owens to get the wrist of Bryant Stith. The foul is called on Owens, and Stith will go to the line. And as Bryant toes the foul line, let's send it to our roving reporter, Scott Hastings, wherever he may be.
That's right. I can rove this week. I have a wireless. Dan was real adamant in the timeout. Two things he didn't like what he was seeing. One was the transition defense that Dave said something about, and also lack of movement on the offensive end. He said, and I quote, "This is not a dog team. You got to play this team 48 minutes."
Stith hits the 2 foul shots, and the Nuggets to a 2-point lead. 4:45 left. This is not your usual Warrior Nuggets shooting fest. Victor Alexander, and he finds Sprewell for 3. Becomes a pass back to Alexander.
Well, he missed the shot, but a good job that time of penetrating and kicking back out and then making that extra pass to get the wide open jump shot.
Yes, there is still enough talent left on the Warriors. Overplaying Rogers was Gatling. Avery Johnson keeps it alive. Sprewell inside to Owens with Mutombo. Mutombo pushes it against the backboard, but Golden State will have the ball. Another block shot for Dikembe.
And you can head and shoulder fake all you want to. That big fella's not going anywhere. Owens at 6'8", tries once, twice, gets him up in the air, then leans in, and the big right hand of Mutombo still right there.
Don Nelson pointed the finger at Billy Owens, says, "You're the man I want picking it up to another level," and Owens now goes out with no points tonight. Avery Johnson cut by the San Antonio Spurs after being a starter last year. And when Hardaway went down, Don Nelson phoned Avery. Sprewell wheels out for the Golden State Warriors with the left hand. Gatling. Several Nuggets fight, and now it's Reggie Williams. Comes out on a 3-on-2. He has Stith and Rauf. Rauf pulls the trigger. And there is Stith again, but from underneath, he's stripped by Avery Johnson. Weaving through traffic, setting up Sprewell, and the combo stops him, but the foul. Wow. Sprewell with a head of steam goes one-on-one on Mutombo.
I tell you, he's taking it right to the rack. Dikembe looked like he had excellent position. I don't know about that call. He got his hand right on the basketball. Sprewell strong to the hole. More times than not, when you are the type shot blocker that Dikembe Mutombo is, and you have the reputation of being that, you get away with that one.
Instead, he gets his second personal foul. Sprewell, he's averaging 21 points a game, and what a steal he was at 24 last year in the first round out of Alabama. So Mutombo goes out, and Brian Williams, speaking of steals, Brian Williams comes in. Third-year man out of Arizona, and looking very impressive coming off the bench for the Nuggets as either a backup center or a power forward. 6 points for Sprewell, and the Warriors have taken a 4-point lead. Nuggets were up 16-14. There's the hard drive by Rogers. Clear the track. Rodney looking to ram it home.
Well, it's going to be fun to see this year how many guys actually step in and take the charge when Rodney Rogers takes off to the basket.
A couple of Warriors kind of putting their hands in, but turning those bodies away.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Chris Webber gets his second foul, and Don Nelson wondering what he's going to do next. He's going to keep Webber on the floor. Rogers averaged 21 points a game last year, left Wake Forest after his junior season. And he clicks from the foul line with that soft left-hander. 3 minutes on the nose remain in the first quarter in Denver. Warriors by 2. Raouf right in the face of Johnson. Mark Macon is reported in. Webber, that quick move. This goes against Rodney Rogers. Webber was selected third in the draft, or rather first in the draft by Orlando, while Golden State selected Anthony Hardaway third, and then the teams made the switch with the Warriors sending Orlando 3 first-round draft picks.
Baseline, the foul on Rogers, and Webber almost gets the shot to go.
At the vintage Chris Webber, he's now 6 of 11 from the foul line in the early going. Now you remember, he signed, then he had an appendectomy, and then he sprained his ankle, so he missed the first 2 games of the season. He has scored 15 points in each of the 2 games he has played, and you have to believe he's not even in shape yet.
Yeah, the best is yet to come for Chris Webber.
He has 5 points tonight, a very quiet 5. Warriors lead it by 3. Macon with a force, and now Avery Johnson spins away, leaves Macon behind. Leap pass to Jeff Grayer, who has just checked in, the 6-year man out of Iowa State.
And the numbers there caused by the Nuggets standing around on offense and not taking good shots. That goes down, but they've got to get some movement in the basketball.
2 starters, Raouf and Smith in the lineup. There is Raouf, who snatches the rebound. He runs away from Grayer. Hard drive by Macon.
Well, push the pace was one of the things that the Nuggets wanted to accomplish early, and you can see if you can get the ball in transition and move it up the court, you're going to get some good looks at the basket.
Hard to think of a Don Nelson team trying to slow it down on you, but they may do that. Certainly looking for the half-court game against the Nuggets. Rogers and Webber. Alexander, he can hit from there. Gatling keeps it alive. A minute and a half to go in this first quarter. Johnson says, take your time. They're down to 16 seconds to shoot. Too hot to handle. Williams has to protect it. And now it's Raouf. Makes the move inside. Cut off by Avery Johnson. And Johnson has his second personal foul. 6-year vet out of Southern, where he led the nation in assists 2 years running. Gatling comes back in, and he'll give Alexander a breather. Victor Alexander able to survive the rest of the first quarter without picking up his third personal foul. Now Raouf goes for number 79. 3 for 3 tonight, and he has moved into second place. Second longest foul shooting streak in NBA history. And it reaches the 80 mark for Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He is now 17 behind the leader, Michael Williams. The mark of 97 standing. Williams, who missed a foul shot a couple of games ago. Webber with a spin move.
Spin move and a left hand with Brian Williams in pretty good defensive shape.
Warriors by 1. Just inside a minute. First quarter. There's the hard drive by Rogers with that left hand. Now Avery Johnson pushes the pace for the Warriors. Goes up with the left hand. Swish. Johnson not known for his outside shooting, which has certainly made life a little more difficult for him. Defenses certainly know how to play him.
But you still have to stop the basketball, even though you're right. He's not a great outside shooter. You let him in transition, spot up from about 12 feet, he'll hit a percentage of those.
Raouf flying, takes it off the glass and in. Wow. Nuggets trail by 1. And there's Avery Johnson, says, take that.
And nobody stopped the basketball. Rauf, after the shot, didn't have a chance to get back.
They caught it underneath. Good call by Tommy Wood. Rauf thought he might have gotten away with it. He stumbled with the ball. Billy Owens reports back in, number 30 for the Warriors. And look at this. Latrell Sprewell is actually taken out of the game. This is one of the valuable parts of a minute that he will not play.
Averages 47 minutes per game. Now, the next best mark in the NBA, Kenny Anderson's at 41 minutes.
Actually, it's 47 point something. Wow. 5 seconds to shoot. Weber, 3 seconds left. Oh, and Stith is called for traveling. Nuggets thought, Brian Stith thought that was the buzzer to end the quarter. And so he's called for traveling. He's ready to walk the ball off the floor. So it gives the Warriors an opportunity here with 2.3 seconds left. And it goes to Weber. And they only use 0.7 of a second. So the Nuggets pay for their carelessness on the floor. And they leave the first quarter trailing Golden State by the Nuggets coming in after a 29-point victory last night against Los Angeles. And they know after 12 minutes that Dave, don't feel sorry for the injury-riddled Golden State Warriors.
Really, they haven't pushed the pace, and I don't think defensively they've come out with the intensity that Dan Issel would like to see. Too many shots like that.
With Dikembe Mutombo sitting on the bench, Avery Johnson continues to take it inside. Macon gets away from Johnson. Macon over Gatling. Mark Macon coming in to hit a couple of key baskets. 33-28 in favor of the Warriors. Weber 9 points in the first quarter to lead all scorers. Grayer off the glass, and the Warriors tonight shooting very well.
And again, without Mutombo, first 2 shots this quarter in the paint. Warriors have been able to get to the basket and get good looks.
52% from the floor for the Warriors in the first half. Macon and the rookie Darnell Nee, number 4. There's Brian Williams. Gatling reaches in and reels it in. Here's Johnson. Stolen. Macon, he has Reggie Williams on the right side. Macon twisting. Wild shot. And it comes back the other way. Owens slides in, and I think Dan Issel will call a timeout. Mark Macon had a 3-on-2. He had Reggie Williams dashing on the right side, did not get him the basketball, and then took a running.
They say you're not playing hard and you're not playing very smart.
And they are trailing by 9 points at home to the injury-riddled Warriors. Grayer is hit with a foul. That is his first. Warriors have outscored the Nuggets 12-4 in the last 2 minutes. Our stat master, Carrie Canaster, informing us of that statistic. The stat master, by the way, returning from hip surgery, the Bo Jackson of statisticians.
Good to get him back.
Yes.
Too. Not only are they not playing smart and hard, because they've played with impatience on offense, taking the first shot available, they're not shooting the basketball very well. 37% in the first quarter. Warriors shot 48%, largely due to the fact of the transition game, easy baskets, and they passed the basketball.
Jeff Grayer, who was selected in Milwaukee when Don Nelson was there, had knee injury his first season. And Nelson just likes his scrappiness. Now, speaking of scrappiness, here is Rauf. He goes all the way for the dish to LaFonso Ellis. That gets the crowd going, but a technical foul is going to be called on LaFonso Ellis for hanging on the rim. And LaFonso is the most surprised. There was nothing extraordinary about that dunk as far as the aftermath.
Great penetration here by Rauf. Just lays the basketball off. Well, I don't know.
Well, in the slow motion, when you stop it, it looks like you're hanging on the rim.
Well, when you stop it, he does.
I guess he did. Wow, he hung on there longer than I thought he did.
I think the referees have enough to worry about out here in the NBA without having to make this call. Is this excessively hanging on the rim? Again, in slow motion. I mean, you could call that 20 times a game, really.
Well, the Nuggets do not give up any points, and the referees also taking nothing from any of the coaches here tonight. Danny Crawford and Jimmy Clark have looked Dan Issel back to the bench on several occasions.
Got to help Raouf now in the blocks with Sprewell.
Here's Grayer with the drive. That is essentially his game. Mutombo got a piece of that one. The Nuggets trying to rev it up. A basket here. They're just 3 back. Raouf looking to take it on Sprewell. Ellis wants it. Ellis gets it. 1-on-1 with Weber. 9.5 to go in this first half. Billy Owens in traffic. Look at him handling the ball. Gatling is a nice little jumper. Loses to Ellis. Goes behind the back. Passes Weber. 2-on-1. Raouf slides in. Rejected by Sprewell. And now the Warriors back the other way. A 4-on-3. Sprewell. Baseline jumper. Raced down by Gatling. Weber. Mutombo. Stops him. Nuggets would have loved to see Weber pick up that 3rd foul. That ball looked to be halfway in.
Last time down, Raouf has got to realize he's got LaFonso Wallace on the wing. 2-on-1. He's got to give him the basketball.
Williams fires. Mutombo wrestles it away in traffic. He is blocked, but that could be number 3 on number 4. It is. Chris Webber gets his 3rd personal foul. And things are heating up here in the second.
Now, that's the case where Mutombo, just too big and strong, goes right over the top of Weber. Then is going to throw it down, and Weber on the arm with the foul. Don Nelson off the bench, not happy. You can see Chris Webber also not happy with the call, but Mutombo just too big and strong in the paint.
First sophomore selected as the number 1 pick since, well, they hit 1979. Magic Johnson. Mutombo will have 1 more shot. 11 points in LA to go along with 24 rebounds, 7 block shots, and another key statistic for Dikembe last night, 5 assists. Passing that ball out in congestion. Nuggets now with 6 straight points have cut their 9-point deficit to 3.
And they've turned it up a couple of notches in the defensive end.
Mee now guarding Grayer. They isolate. 6 seconds to go. It's knocked away, recovered by Ellis, but he was out of bounds. And now we'll get our first look at Keith Jennings, the 5'7" backcourt man from Eastern Tennessee State. Voted the best player under 6 feet when he was in his senior year. Started last season with Golden State, looked to be the backup to Tim Hardaway, but then tore ligaments in his knee. Victor Alexander pumps another one in. He has 4 field goals, 8 points, and the Warriors trying to stave off this second quarter challenge by the Nuggets. 5-point lead for Golden State. 8 minutes on the nose remaining in the first half. Mutombo has nothing, gets it out to Ellis. Mutombo reaching in with the save. Still has it. 3 seconds to shoot. Number 3 gets it off. Chris Jackson still looking for his first 3-pointer of the season. He made 70 last year, although that not under ideal conditions. Beautiful floater by Owens over the fingertips of Mutombo.
And again, Golden State, as much as they like to push the basketball, you've got to stop the man with the ball. You have to stop the dribble.
Darnell Mee and Sprewell, they look like twins. Mutombo wheels inside, and he draws foul number 3 on Victor Alexander. So the Nuggets may be trailing and trailing by 7, but the Warriors could be wearing out in this first half. 3 fouls on Alexander, 3 fouls on Weber as Mee goes to the bench, replaced by Stiff.
And Alexander, the last few times down, has really played Dikembe's right hand. That time Mutombo spins and goes to his left and gets underneath the Warrior center. How about those numbers for the last 2 games? 35 rebounds.
Dikembe looking to put his name whenever there's discussions of the top centers. The Ewings and Robinsons and Elijah Wands, and now Mourning has kind of moved into that group, but you really never hear the name of Mutombo discussed. Dikembe in his 3rd season. Reggie Williams slaps it away and strips Billy Owens. Williams carrying the basketball. He had 7 assists last night against the Lakers to go along with his 15 points. Back it goes to Williams. Oh, he misses the slam, but he was pushed from behind, and take 1 assist away from Dikembe Mutombo.
Well, you talked about his ability last night to pass the basketball, just the simple give and go. Reggie to Mutombo, the bounce pass back. Reggie fouled on his way to the rim.
And Reggie knows he should have had that one. Gatling reaching in, and that is foul number 1 on Gatling. Reggie Williams, 17 points a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He has been struggling from the foul line, 12 of 17. That's unlike Reggie numbers from the line. 80% foul shooter last year. Comes back for the second one. 3 points for Reggie Williams. High man for the Nuggets. Rauf, Ellis, and Stith all with 6 apiece. Chris Webber 9 for the Warriors. Victor Alexander and Avery Johnson with 8 apiece. The illegal defense called on Denver. I believe it's on Mutombo. Dan Issel pensively watching on in this first half. Nuggets rolling into town, flying into town off of last night's 29-point win in Los Angeles. Gatling squeezes by Mutombo.
Dan Issel just grabbed his head on that one. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. The ball fake, you get LaFonso up in the air and go right past him.
Gatling obviously watching some old ABA footage of Dan Issel. Byron Houston is in there and fouls Mutombo.
And as long as Houston is going to play Dikembe Mutombo in the blocks, the Nuggets will go inside each and every possession.
6'5", but 250 pounds. Very physical presence, and right now that's what Don Nelson is left with. Victor Alexander with 3 personal fouls. He tried Gatling there for a while.
We saw Charles Barkley try to play Dikembe down there last year with some reasonable success, but he is not Charles Barkley.
Although that's the guy he's been compared to when he came out of school, Oklahoma State. Mutombo, this will be his 6th foul shot. What Nugget has been to the foul line more than any player so far this year? Mutombo, that is his 23rd foul shot of the season. And if you said Dikembe Mutombo, you are exactly wrong. Brian Stith, 26 times to the line, 28, including the 2 tonight. Keith Jennings with that quick first step. Here's the steal by Ellis. Tough pass, but gathered in by Williams, trying to get control. Ellis smashes it home and doesn't stay on the rim this time. The quick release by the Fonz. And a 20-second timeout, a quick release off the bench by Don Nelson. Now they call it a full timeout, with the Nuggets trying to storm back in this one. They trailed by as many as 9, and now it's a 4-point game. 5.5 to go in the first half.
Up as it should. Ellis takes the pass from Reggie Williams and sends it home.
Nuggets almost strip it from the little guy, Keith Jennings. Instead, Reggie Williams is called for personal foul. That is his first. And let's pick up Scott. Scott under the basket. What are you seeing from there, big man?
Well, I'm seeing the back of some photographers' heads, and they do need some work.
Thank you for that expert commentary.
Anyway, Dan's very happy of this last time. He said, look out for a trap. He said, we got some mismatches out there, but don't exploit them to the point where we're going to be standing around and not getting to our passing game. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome, Scott.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that is a traveling violation on Chris Webber. Webber off to a pretty nice start. Scott, how do you stop Chris Webber? I guess he can't hear us anymore.
Or he doesn't know how.
5:10 left in the second quarter. And the Warriors still holding the 4-point lead, but the Nuggets holding the ball. Mutombo with the back in and an illegal defense.
Webber. Chris Webber that time, as Mutombo tried to back Houston in from the wing, had both feet in the paint.
with his man LaFonso Ellis settling outside. Don Nelson living with the injuries this year. He knows he'll get Mullen back at least 4 to 5, 6 weeks or so. Rauf, no. And over the back, there's a foul there, and it's going to go against the Warriors. Byron Houston barreling in, and he has his second personal foul in a hurry.
Well, at 6'5", you have to be strong inside, but you can see Houston with a pretty good shove on Dikembe Mutombo. And the big fella goes to the free throw line once again.
Well, he might catch Bryant Stith for foul shot attempts before this game is over. 5 of 7 tonight. Houston, who's a first-round pick by the Chicago Bulls, last selection in the first round 2 years ago, and then the 3-team deal came over to Golden State. Warriors sending a first-round draft pick to Dallas, and Dallas sending Rodney McCray to the Bulls. The Warrior lead whittled to 2. Mutombo gets a piece of that. The very athletic Latrell Sprewell gets to the foul line. This game's starting to slow down.
And that's a tough play for Bryant Stith. He's playing on Sprewell's shoulder, trying to deny the entry pass, and then the quick spin and lob pass, and Stith finds himself behind Sprewell.
And finds himself with a second personal foul. Nuggets home Tuesday night against David Robinson and Dennis Rodman and the San Antonio Spurs. Speaking of putting numbers up there, Rodman 24, 25, 29 rebounds.
It's amazing.
And Cleveland comes in on Thursday. Weber, the offensive board. Mutombo wrestling it, but not away. And in traffic, it's Ellis.
Weber almost got his 4th foul right there.
There's the fake by Rauf. Fade away. Snatching the rebound is Chris Webber. Houston. And he delivers from the outside. You know, there's such a thing about not calling Mahmoud Chris that whenever I say Weber, I kind of instantly want to call him Mahmoud Weber. You know, I just don't want to say the name Chris. We kind of have it embedded in ourselves to stay away. Stith, swish.
But both times he's hit jump shots from the perimeter, he is squared up, shoulders right to the basket, and got a good look.
Balanced scoring for the Nuggets. Stith, Mutombo, and Ellis each with 8 points. High men. Double team on Owens. Where's the open man? Sprewell, but not for a moment. He now is guarded by Ellis, who knocks it away.
He'll try to take him off the dribble here.
3 seconds to shoot. The force from downtown. And the putback. Once again, the Nuggets, second time tonight, they hear a buzzer and stand still. They are frozen by it. And you know what? It's cost them 4 points so far this evening. Stith on the money. Back-to-back from the outside. And Stith becomes the first Nugget in double figures with 10. Remember, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf has led the Nuggets in scoring in each of the first 4 games. 3 minutes left. The steal. Nuggets bust out. 3 on 2. Rauf across to Stith. He's the hot man. Rauf, the fake. He goes in and knocks it off the glass.
I tell you, that was a tough shot, too. The head and shoulder fake, the lean in, and that thing kissed off about 4 inches above the square.
Nuggets within 1. Avery Johnson off the screen. He's open for the left-handed. Ripped away by Williams, who then loses it to Houston, and there will be a jump ball. Reggie Williams at 6'7" is a couple of inches on Houston. Gatling comes in. Don Nelson wants Weber out of there with 3 personal fouls with just 2.5 to go in the first half. Houston with great jumping ability, and that is the case with Williams, but Houston gets it. Rejected by Mutombo. Stith with a near save, taking his life into his hands.
I think Chris Gatling had better learn quickly that when you put it up, you better give a head and shoulders fake or get up quicker than that. Mutombo got that thing on its way up.
2:25 remaining in the second. Warriors hold the ball and the 1-point lead.
Pick and roll.
Grayer. Houston goes upstairs and now wheeling out. Rauf goes behind the back. Nuggets now pull it out to see what they have. Ellis wants the ball. Rauf flips the wrist. Rauf in double figures with 10. The Nuggets in the lead by 1. They have scored 6 straight points and jumped back in front for the first time since the first quarter. 8 seconds to shoot. Johnson slapped away by Rauf. Houston is there, and he bounces the Warriors back in front by 1. 4 points for Byron Houston. There is the arithmetic as the first half coming to a close. Reggie Williams. Sprewell. Darts inside, off balance, and he is fouled. And it's foul number 3 on Bryant Stith.
Once again in transition, there are 2 guys that will shoot the ball, Jennings and Sprewell. Nuggets do not do a good job of stopping him out on the perimeter. You can see before he's picked up, he is almost to the free throw line. Bryant Stith got backed all the way down in the lane in transition, didn't get any help, and also got his 3rd foul in the process.
Stith comes out with the 3 personal fouls, 10 points. Mark Macon replaces him for the final minute 8. And the Golden State Warriors will talk about it. They call a 20-second timeout with 3 personal fouls. And Don Nelson getting refreshed. Here's our Circle K action update. Warriors at 48%. The Nuggets last night 55% against the Los Angeles Lakers have dropped down to 32%. And there are your leading scorers. Weber with 11. Rauf and Stith with 10 apiece. Sprewell makes that a 3-point play. He now has 10. Correction, we have the Nuggets for 39% in the first half. Darnell Mee in for the closing minute, along with rookie Rodney Rogers. And they're joined by Mutombo, Rauf, and Macon on the floor. Mutombo, 6 rebounds. He has 5 block shots already in the first half. Rauf guarded by Jennings. Mee over Sprewell. Inside 50 seconds left. Ten seconds to shoot. Gatling likes that spot.
Just a rookie mistake. Rodney Rogers tries to help Dikembe Mutombo with Byron Houston. No need to help there. You wind up spotting Chris Gatling for an open 17-foot jump shot.
6-point lead for the Warriors. Mutombo can't hold on. Sprewell. And the foul. So now Don Nelson has rested his 2 key guys, and he's building a league back up again. He's got the bench on the floor essentially, and he has turned what was once a Nugget 1-point lead into a 6-point Warrior lead, and Keith Jennings could do even more about that.
But the Nuggets really have just not played smart basketball the last 4 minutes. As Scott Hastings was talking about, they went through a stretch in the first half in which they did, but the last 4 minutes defensively they have not been intense, and offensively not been able to catch the basketball.
Doug Bushler has just checked in, gives Sprewell another rare rest. Last shot for the Nuggets. Try to get a couple back here. It's in the hands of Rauf. Oh, he's called for the travel, and you know, I don't think so. I just think he just faked the referee Dan Crawford out. His moves are so good that Crawford went for the fake and called the foul. He never lifted his feet. It was just the motion with the hands. Avery Johnson back in. 4 seconds to go in the first half. Rauf goes down hard, holding his knee, and that counts Jennings. And this play may be remembered for a long time by the Denver Nuggets. Chris Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf goes down on that pick. And this all stems back from what may have been a blown call by the referee.
It was a back pick. They tried to free Jennings for a long pass. Rauf was on Jennings. And the back pick there, you can see his left knee banged with the left knee of a Golden State Warrior. I believe it's Avery Johnson. There's where Rauf runs into Johnson in the back pick. And he stays down. Going to be helped off the court. Hopefully.
Join the team. The good news, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf on the floor to start the second half. The bad news, Latrell Sprewell makes it a 13-0 run for the Warriors. Nuggets led 49-48, and in the last minute and a half of the second period, the Warriors scored 11 straight points. Reggie Williams goes in and scores, but his second field goal in 7 attempts this evening.
And he takes a nice pass from Dikembe Mutombo. Denver had only 6 assists in the first half. To put that in perspective, last night at the Great Western Forum, as you mentioned, 31 assists. So they're standing on offense and not passing the ball.
Backdoor, Mutombo got a piece of that one. Weber stays with it for the reverse. And now you see the Warriors come out full of confidence.
So they've talked long and hard about Chris Webber's hands. Great hands underneath. Once he gets those hands on the ball, tough to shake him loose.
Warriors lead it by 12 on the Nuggets' home turf. Last year, Denver won 28 games at home, trying to do better this year. Rauf making many in the stands feel a little better as he gets that shot off. And he's now the Nuggets' high man with 12 points. 3 personal fouls for Stith, Weber, and Alexander as we start the second half. Sprewell draws the crowd, and this foul is against Mutombo, gets number 3.
And again, Dikembe has not had much luck tonight with the referees. Normally, with a guy like that, that's a block. Not much contact at all.
And it leaves Dikembe Mutombo shaking his head. So he joins those plays with 3 personal fouls. Latrell Sprewell, what a great story he is. He did not play organized ball in high school until his senior season, was not recruited by a Division A school. Went to Three Rivers Community College in Poplar Bluff, Missouri for 2 years, and then Alabama kind of wanted him after that.
Well, he'd be an interesting guy to play with at the YMCA. No, I'm not even a high school player. Huh? Get him on your team and never lose. You never leave the court.
He has 14 points tonight. Correction on Rauf. He also has 14. Nuggets have dug themselves a hole. Mutombo blocked by Weber. Dikembe's still there. He is tied up, but he is fouled by Alexander, and that is his 4th.
But when you're not shooting the ball well, you just have to continue to work hard. You're going to have to get loose balls. You're going to have to get rebounds.
Dikembe is big. He has the long wingspan, but he has heavy feet. He gets the ball inside and has his difficulty in rising quickly to the basket. You see the size of his feet, you can understand the size of his sneakers. Reggie Williams in low, stripped by Weber. Nuggets starting off this third quarter, taking it inside. Rauf tips it away to Stith, trying to get control. Now he does. 65-53. The Warriors are in control as we begin the second half. Sellout crowd at McNichols Arena. Hard drive by Ellis. So every time down, Dave, the Nuggets have hammered it inside.
A nice power move, and I'm sure Dan Issel realizes that when you shoot 38% in the first half, you got to get better shots. And LaFonso Ellis taking it strong to the rim is a much better shot.
He's the third Nugget in double figures. Owens gets inside. Only the 3rd field goal. Very quiet night for Billy Owens. Quiet night for Owens. They're playing without Hardaway, Mullen, and Marciulionis. You may ask, how do they lead by 12? Stith from the outside. And there is Owens, who reaches up. Here's the Nuggets, who win big on the road last night. The Warriors lose at home, and a complete turnaround. Rauf for the little dish. Rauf shaking off the knee injury. Said he's sore, but certainly can go, and he has struck for 2 baskets here in the opening minutes of the second half. Avery Johnson. Alexander playing with the 4 fouls. Weber, Mutombo reaching up, and it's could be number 4 on Weber. It is.
And Chris Webber's not mad at the call. He's mad that he missed the first stick back. Did an excellent job, got his hands on the ball, missed an easy one, and then committed the foul going over the top of Dikembe Mutombo. This is a pretty good job defensively by Ellis. Forces the left hand. Weber takes the ball away. He misses that shot right there. That's what he's upset with.
Pushing his way through. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He had 10 points at halftime. Or 12 points at halftime. He's added 6 quickly here in the third quarter. The Nuggets now within 8. Owens, the back pass. Weber remains on the floor, as does Alexander with the 4 fouls. And it is Weber to Alexander, and he muscles his way through. The big problem with Alexander as far as Nelson's concerned is with such a big body, 6'9", 265, he prefers the finesse game to using the big frame. Mutombo faces the basket. I think that's his first of the year on the jumper looking at the hoop.
And that's a good shot as long as it goes in.
Yeah, that was a good shot. Johnson darts inside, and he has really done a job chewing up the Nuggets on the drive. Double figures for Avery Johnson. 7 minutes left in the third. Abdul-Rauf shaking off that left knee contusion.
Reggie trying to take Avery Johnson down low.
And he does. 7 points for Williams.
Good job there recognizing the mismatch. Rauf waves Reggie Williams down the blocks and gets him a good pass.
And now isolated Johnson against Rauf. Weber and Mutombo get tangled up. Stith gets in there. Rauf ahead of the field. Stith, instead dribbling it, and he takes it in. Brian Stith had Rauf way in front. And that forces Don Nelson now to call a 20-second timeout as he sees the tempo shifting. It is Abdul-Rauf explaining to his coaches why Stith didn't pass the ball, because Stith had the in the third period.
Again, the Nuggets not playing smart there. You can't let Sprewell spot up for the open jump shot. Your man, you can't rotate and leave Sprewell.
Reggie Williams trying to save it, goes through the legs of Sprewell as both his feet came up. That should have been a traveling violation. Nuggets get away. 5 seconds to shoot. Mutombo with the reset of the 24, but in a crowd loses. Now Avery Johnson with some room. Rauf is there and waiting.
It's offense.
It exactly is an offensive foul.
And now Rauf's chest is sore as well. That's an excellent job of anticipating the move. Watch Rauf jump right and gets in the way. Good job defensively by Rauf.
You wonder if these guys weren't good friends.
They beat up each other a little bit tonight, haven't they?
I think it's just like brothers going up against one another. Nuggets have come out to shoot 8 of 12 from the field in the second half. And LaFonso lets one go from afar. Warriors again could take a 10-point lead with a basket. Ten seconds to shoot. Johnson. And Avery Johnson is having a night from the outside.
And sometimes even when you play good defense, it doesn't matter. Rauf helps on the Sprewell drive. Sprewell spots Avery Johnson wide open. Normally not a good shooter, but tonight's been pretty good.
Avery Johnson, the former Nugget, 6 of 8 from the floor. Wheeling inside is Mutombo. And now Sprewell. Wide open, Gatling with the left hand. And the Golden State Warriors are just picking the Nuggets apart. 15 on the clock. Third quarter. And this is inside against Mutombo. So Mutombo does stay in there, but probably not for long. 4 personal fouls. Issel trying to go with Mutombo and Brian Williams.
But Dikembe's got to be a bit smart. You can move people, but you can't be so obvious. And that time he just moved Gatling completely out of the blocks.
Especially around Gatling.
Yeah.
Gatling falls if you just step near him.
You just got to be smart in how you go about moving him.
So Macon comes in for the Nuggets. Rogers and Brian Williams up front. Brian Williams steps in for the rebound. Rauf bouncing out. Cross court it goes to Williams. Pulls the trigger. Swish. 9 points for Williams. He's the only starter not in double figures. Avery Johnson gets it up in a hurry. For 3. Williams gets inside. Crowd and Dennis will want that foul on Owens. 3.5 to go in the third. Nuggets sense an opportunity now to get back in. Brian Williams over Alexander. And there again is that guy, Chris Gatling. Sprewell, the three-point threat. But he's right now wrapped up by Rauf.
Good defense.
Macon, what'll he do with it? Slides right in there.
A nice defense the last time down. Good help defense by the Nuggets. They get an easy basket because of it.
77-69. Warriors by 8. And now slowing it down with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Big pick by Alexander for Johnson, and the roll rejected by Williams. Goes upstairs to block the Warriors center, but is also hit with a foul. His second personal foul, and the teams will have a chance to talk it over with a timeout called at the sold-out McNichols Arena. And 2.5 minutes left. First foul shot of the evening comes up cold, and we'll have one more. He's averaging 9 points a game. He's got 10 tonight.
And again, youthful mistakes. You got to block out. Rodney Rogers went to the basket, and Chris Gatling just kind of shoved him underneath when the ball was in the air. Rodney is strong enough that if you put a body on him, see, he pushed him all the way underneath the basket, you've got to aggressively block him out. You can't go for the basketball.
Still searching for the foul. So Gatling will have a couple. And he's now looking for his 10th point. He dislocated his knuckle, left middle finger. You see it still taped. That was in a preseason game against the Nuggets. Still feeling the effects, but paying the Nuggets back dearly in the regular season. 10 points for Gatling and a 10-point lead for Golden State. 2:25 on the clock in the third period. Rodney Rogers getting an opportunity to show his stuff.
So strong that once he gets up in your chest, even if you've got good position, he can just muscle the ball to the glass.
6 points for Rogers. He had 10 last night against the Lakers, his first double figures game in the NBA. Backdoor Weber. Brian Williams is right there with him and called for the foul. Real quick whistles here tonight. And the Nuggets are being hammered.
And that's a man that's just about ready to burst.
Just kind of let the air out of the side of the mouth.
That's right. Also out of your eardrums.
That's right. Does not want to go through that bursting effect. Warriors by 8. Nuggets need a stop and a basket right now. Cut it down to 6, and they're back in business. Weber playing with the 4 fouls, but Don Nelson electing to reinsert him in the lineup. He has 13 points. Rodney Rogers makes that one happen. He can move and handle the ball at 6'7" and 260. Reggie Williams, the 3. He's the only Nugget who has made a three-pointer this year. Nuggets 2 of 19 from downtown coming into tonight's game.
Got to help him.
Owens on the mismatch against Rauf.
You got to help him. Billy Owens at 6'8", Rauf at 6 feet. Down the blocks, you got to run at him.
Nuggets had a chance if they made that three-pointer. They'd cut it to 5, but instead they trailed by 10. Golden State Warriors scored the last 11 points of the first half. And that has opened it up. Macon from deep. Rogers from 15. Turns out to be a pass to Brian Williams. First field goal for Williams tonight. Inside the final minute of the third quarter. Nuggets will have a couple of days off after this one and then return here Tuesday night against San Antonio with the Admiral and the worm. David Robinson and Dennis Rodman. 5 seconds to shoot. There's that bump by Gatling. Doesn't get away with it there.
Take a quick shot here. You can get 2 for 1, but you've got to shoot. Well, it doesn't look like they're going to.
29 seconds. Ball still loose. Rauf puts the wrist. 20 now for Rauf, who's been at the 20 mark or more in each of the first 5 Nuggets games. And this is where the Nuggets have to dig in and stop the Warriors. The crowd trying to help out. Owens wide open. They still have time. They could get it down to 4. Weaving his way through Reggie Williams, and he cannot hold on. Bad turnover there. Out of control is Williams, and it leaves the Warriors with 3 seconds.
That's tough because you got Golden State to shoot the basketball way before they should have. They could have run the clock down. But they take a shot with 9 seconds to go, miss it, and you just can't control the basketball. It's been that kind of night.
Weber goes out. Jennings, who hit that three-pointer in the first half, is in. Johnson heaves. But the Nuggets able to close the gap to 6 points. They trailed by as many as 12. They sliced that in half. And Brian Williams also in there along with Reggie. And Reggie Williams again trying to force it inside and again losing it.
But Reggie has had no calls tonight. He can't buy a call to the rack.
Weber on the floor with Owens, along with 5'7" Keith Jennings.
Clock.
And that is the call. Weber nailed with a traveling violation.
That's pretty good defense by Brian Williams, who took one right in the stomach. He anticipates the spin. Watch him beat Chris Weber to the baseline. Right there. And the extra step as he spins to the basket. Good defense.
Warriors turnovers are helping to keep the Nuggets in the ball game. Second home game for Denver. Won the first game by 2 against the Clippers. Sprewell on Williams. Ellis with position. And now Weber on the move. Nearly stripped by Steph. Still has it and walks in.
Literally.
Off the mark tonight. 4 of 12 from the field. Watch out. Back door. Houston. The board's covered by Brian Williams. Dikembe Mutombo getting ready to come back in. Nice fake by Macon. Williams pounds the boards, but the Nuggets can't find the hoop one more time. Fourth quarter, Nuggets have gone cold at the outset. The foul on Macon. He gets his first personal foul. The nice wheel inside by Billy Owens. So Mutombo is back in. Rauf will also come in for Denver. Brian Williams goes out.
Tough matchup for Mark Macon. Billy Owens at 6'8", much bigger and stronger. He just pinned Macon down in the blocks, and Mark had no choice but to grab it.
Owens will have one more. Let's check in with Scott Hastings. Scott, what does it look like from your view?
Well, hey, I don't think it looks any better from here than it is over there. You know, Dan was real upset. He said, the guys, you aren't shooting well, but you can always play defense. Defense, you don't allow 81 points in 3 quarters and expect to win a game. And that's what he's really concerned about right now.
Well, the Warriors already with 10 minutes left in the game have scored 1 more point than the Lakers scored all game against the Nuggets last night. Mutombo guarded by Weber with the 4 fouls. Dikembe cannot hold on. Sprewell darts inside. And he really gets upstairs for that jump shot. Rattles the rim. He has 18 points. Has Dan Issel calling another timeout. The Nuggets had moved to within 6, and it is now 12.
Weber is off. Makes the move past Mark Macon. And then walks his way home to the basket.
Back in play, Nuggets with the ball. Rauf misses a 3-point attempt, and this may count. As Ellis goes in, Nuggets have missed their first 6 shots in the fourth quarter. They say that does not count. But the Nuggets will have the ball out. Reset of the 24-second clock. 9:20 left. 6-point run for the Warriors to start this fourth quarter.
Set play for Rauf.
Off the glass at a tough angle. 22 points for Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. 3 minutes into the fourth period. Jennings takes it. Owens from deep.
So you can see the Nuggets having a tough time shooting, not shooting with confidence. Right now, Golden State feels like everything they shoot, they can hit. So far here in the last quarter, they have.
There's Ellis at the right place at the right time. And that one, he sinks. 12 points for Ellis, but he's had to work hard to get it. 5 of 13 from the field.
You got to pick it up here defensively. 8.5 to go. You're down 10. Still plenty of time, but you got to do it on this end.
Jennings can't get away from Rauf. Weber sets the screen, and he's open.
Back to him.
And they're going to call the basket, I think. No, the foul before it, and it's number 5 on Weber. Dikembe Mutombo helping out on 5'7" Keith Jennings in the left. Weber wide open.
But he's got to get back to him, which he didn't. But good rotation by the other Nuggets. See, Dikembe never gets back, but Brian Stith steps over in front of Weber, does a nice job, and Weber has to sit down.
Well, here's the opportunity for the Nuggets. Weber goes to the bench with 5 personal fouls. There's 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go, and the Nuggets have 10 points to slice away. Stith wheels on Sprewell, and he is clobbered. So Stith stops the clock, gets to the foul line.
Well, eventually, Brian Stith may be the go-to guy for this team. Strong move inside, and the head and shoulder fake, and drawing plenty of contact on his way to the glass.
That's only the first foul on Sprewell. 3 of 3 from the foul line tonight. Brian Stith bounced back from his poor shooting to hit 7 of his 10 shots and 16 points against the Lakers, and he has 14 points this evening. 89-81. The Warriors by 8. They're looking for their second win. And this is their 5th game of the year.
Got to play him off the dribble. Good defense.
3 to shoot. Oh, swish. Billy Owens now catching fire. 13 points. Warriors with a lineup of Jennings and Sprewell, Gatling in the middle, Houston and Owens up front. Not exactly the dream team.
Last time down, good defense, though, and Owens knocks it down.
And they make the steal. But you have to give credit to this hustling team. Don Nelson calling the shots on the bench. Always dealing with overachievers. And if you're not going to be on a Don Nelson team. Houston pulling his way in. Mutombo retrieves it. Clock now ticking down to 6:50 left in the fourth quarter. Mutombo against the smaller Gatling. He's there. Helping out was the bigger Houston. Houston at 250, 6'5". So Alexander will come back in with the 4 fouls.
The problem once again, though, when Dikembe Mutombo gets the ball, you've got 4 guys in white jerseys standing and watching. Dikembe at that time, fortunate that he powered his way to the basket and got the call. Had that not been blown a foul, you've got no chance to rebound.
Well, you know what? They may be less likely to stand and watch if they knew Mutombo might pass the ball.
Sure.
When he has the ball inside with 4 men on him. Now let's check in with Scott Hastings. Scott?
You know, the first 2 games you worried about Brian Stith and LaFonso struggling, although LaFonso hasn't shot real well tonight. The biggest concern right now is the Denver bench. Right now, the total combined of everybody that's played off the bench is only 14 points. Back to you, Al.
They may need Scott before this year's over.
I think that's exactly what he was hinting. Scott has that ulterior motive. You got to read into every comment he makes from that sideline. Mutombo has 12 points, only 2 field goals, but 8 of 10 from the foul line. On the cut, Sprewell. He's being hounded by Reggie Williams. 2 on the shot clock. The force into the hands of Mutombo. 91-83. Nuggets trying again to slice it to 6. Williams in trouble. And this time a foul is called against the Warriors. Billy Owens trying to wrap up Reggie Williams. We're down to 6 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And Don Nelson has not sat much tonight. I think he is sat on that bench as much as Sprewell has. The quick move and another flick of the wrist. Swish.
Well, that's a great move on a very quick defender in Keith Jennings. The head and shoulder fake plus the ball in the air. Rauf able to pull it back down and hit the 17-footer.
And it's 24 for Rauf. It's 6 points. The Warriors in front. Near steal by Steph. Now he has it. And he's going. Don Nelson into it. Now trailed by only 4. Watch Abdul Rauf operate.
The crossover, Jennings expects the quick shot, the head and shoulder and ball fake, nothing but net. And then the defensive end, good anticipation by Brian Stith, reaches in with the right arm and then too strong for Keith Jennings. Little half-court trap here.
Don Nelson has to reinsert Chris Webber since he went out with his 5th personal foul. Nuggets have outscored the Warriors 10-2. Here's another steal. Rauf! And it's a 2-point game.
They'll stay in this half-court trap until Golden State proves they can handle it.
26 for Rauf. Ties his season high. He's either scored 25 or 26 in each of the first 5 games. Avery Johnson wide open, and he overshoots. And over the back will be a foul on Gatling. They finally catch him.
They got exactly what they wanted there. They double-team the basketball, take it out of the shooter's hand, and force Avery Johnson to hit the wide-open 15-footer. Although he has shot the ball well tonight, that's the guy you want to shoot.
I think he has run out of his wide-open 15-footers. The quota is filled for Avery Johnson
for the year.
He hit 6 of his first 9. So LaFonso Ellis now has an opportunity to tie it up. And it is silent here at McNichols Arena.
And really the last couple of minutes, the first time the entire game we've seen this club energized. Playing to the crowd.
Well, at the right time.
Yep.
It was 91-81 Golden State. The Nuggets have now reeled off 10 straight points, and we are even Steven. Reggie Williams jumps out on Avery Johnson. Now Rauf has him, a double team. Williams thought he had it.
Well, you want to reach in and knock the basketball away, but you don't want to foul Avery Johnson 25 feet from the basket with 8 seconds left in the shot clock. Rauf cuts him off. Reggie comes in with the right hand, and there's the call.
Nuggets with 2 big steals here in this run. It's been 3 minutes since the Warriors have scored. Here's Webber, and he deposits it. This is a college junior. 17 points for Webber. And the Warriors break this stretch of the Nuggets and now come up with a steal, but not for long. Trying to get it back, Avery Johnson. He's nailed with his 3rd personal foul. 4:07 on the clock. Don Nelson wishes this were a 36-minute ball game or even a 42-minute game. He led around the 6-minute mark. And Ellis back to the line where just moments ago he knotted this ball game, looking for his 15th point. 93-91 Warriors. And this is the great Warrior. That is what LaFonso means. And his mother named him so. A great Warrior. And you know what? He has certainly lived up to his name on the basketball floor. 6-2. 16 for Ellis. 93-93 as we tick down to 4 minutes on the nose. Near travel, Avery Johnson sneaks inside.
Boy, Dan Issel wanted that near travel to be called. And it was close.
95-93 Warriors. Avery Johnson coming up big tonight. 14 points. Nuggets with their starting 5. And the Warriors again with their starting 5.
Tough shot. Oh,
swish! You know what? There are no tough shots for Rauf. I think he has proven that already.
he lost the handle of the basketball, then shot it without any rhythm at all and nailed it from 22.
And he has 28. And we have another tie game. Johnson, 7 seconds to shoot. Owens has the hot hand. He accelerates. 15 for Owens. And again, the Warriors bounce in front by 2.
And that slight hesitation prevented Mutombo from getting up for the block.
We come down to the final 3 minutes. Teams now successfully trading baskets. 10 on the shot clock. Williams kicks it out of bounds.
But he really got a difficult pass from Dikembe. I mean, that's one that wide receivers can't handle.
So it gives the Warriors the advantage. They have the lead and they have the ball. Slowing it up now is Avery Johnson. The lane is parted. Sprewell cuts through. 6 to shoot. Hard drive by Alexander. Gets the double team and he is fouled. It's on Ellis, his 3rd. That is the Nuggets' 3rd team foul. Alexander, who has missed his 2 foul shot attempts so far tonight. Alfonso takes this moment to get a couple of breaths. He doesn't miss this one. 11 points for Victor Alexander. 2:28 remains. And he sinks the 2. 99-95. Warriors by 4. And the Nuggets will call a timeout to talk about things. They trailed by as many as 12. 28 left.
And I would think somewhere in the next couple of possessions, Brian Stith is going to figure in prominently.
Weber playing with the 5 fouls. He goes out. The Nuggets make up ground. He comes in. And the Warriors hold off the Nuggets. Mutombo twisting and turning. And he's called for 3 seconds. So some crucial turnovers. Mutombo in for 3 seconds. Mutombo's low pass to Reggie Williams that was kicked out of bounds. And now the Warriors will use the clock.
Dikembe, as we mentioned, he's just got to kick that ball back. I think it's triple team. Somebody's going to be wide open for a 15-footer.
Inside 2 minutes. They'll look for that good shot, use the clock, and that was not it, but LaFonso Ellis can't hold on. Sprewell for 3. And that is it for Chris Webber. He is gone because it'll leave the Nuggets enough time. 1:46. Every time Webber has been off the floor, the Nuggets have made their gains.
Well, that's a terrible shot by Latrell Sprewell. And Don Nelson up trying to get his attention. You've got a fresh shot clock.
Right.
You pull up for a 3-pointer ahead by 4 and 1:50 to go. And in the process, you lose one of your best players.
As you said before, great shot if he makes it. All of a sudden, it's a backbreaker. 7-point lead. Sprewell is one of the better 3-point shooters in the league in the early going, but not wise. Warriors had been doing well, using the clock. Listen, they could have used 20 seconds off the clock, gotten a good shot, and been up by 6.
That's right.
So meanwhile, Mutombo comes back the other way. Now the Nuggets have the clock stopped. They could slice the deficit to 2, and certainly should have things in their direction inside. But that way off the mark. Scott, where are you?
I'm over here by the basket, sitting with the Nugget faithful. You know, last time out, Dan stressed, don't let them get second shots. We kind of bit the bullet almost. Latrell Sprewell, like who said that? Dave said, was a terrible shot. But we've got to convert free throws. We will not let them have an easy basket. Now watch for fouls if there's a wide open man.
13 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 block shots from Mutombo. 99-96. 95 seconds left in the game. Wheeling inside is Owens. Sets up Alexander. And there is the second shot, and there is Gatling. Killing him. 12 points for Chris Gatling. And the Nuggets now trail by 5. As Scott Hastings was saying, no second shots. Pulling inside is Stith. And he can't hold on. Sprewell has the ball with 1:10 to go, and you can be sure they'll use the clock now.
And you figured Stith to be the guy down the stretch. He just didn't get the call on the way to the basket.
Yeah, I mean, my thinking is you have a guy named Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf with 28 points. He hasn't touched the ball in the last couple of minutes.
And that's just a process of maturing. Not only do they have to look for him, but he's got to demand the basketball.
Fouls on Ellis. It is his 4th. And with 53 seconds to go, the Warriors have a full reset of 24 seconds. And they have scrapped and scrapped. And, oh, Gatling was all alone. So it gives the Nuggets some new life with 48.8 seconds to go and possession. And Don Nelson is steaming. He knows that he has just opened the door for the Nuggets. It ain't over till it's over.
He's mad. All you have to do if you're Gatling is catch the ball, dunk it. You're up by 7, and this one is pretty much in the bag. But now, as you mentioned, 48.8 seconds to go. The trifecta and a deuce, and this game is tied up.
Leading scorer for the Nuggets, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, for the 5th consecutive game. This is his season high, 28 points. LaFonso Ellis and Brian Stith each with 16. Dikembe Mutombo with 13. Those are the Nuggets in double figures. As far as the Warriors are concerned, scoring-wise, Latrell Sprewell for the 5th consecutive game is the high man with 18 points. Chris Webber is fouled out, has 17. Billy Owens with 15. Avery Johnson 14. And Victor Alexander and Chris Gatling each with 12. And this one could have done the Nuggets in.
Well, the Warriors did a good job, an excellent passing team of finding the open man. Billy Owens realizes Mutombo has left Gatling by himself. And Chris just couldn't handle it. You don't necessarily need your three-pointer on this possession. The Nuggets can take it inside, get a quick 2.
Right. I didn't know Don Nelson's going to tell his team don't foul.
That's right. And Dan Issel will tell his team don't force the three-pointer.
So the Nuggets may have their best opportunity to get that quick 2. Still plenty of time remaining in a 5-point deficit. Dan Issel sends out Rauf along with Macon, Stith, Ellis, and Mutombo. The Warriors counter with Alexander, Gatling, and Owens up front, with Johnson and Sprewell in the backcourt. Ellis quickly takes it to the hole. And for a team that wasn't going to foul, Ellis really got attention. Dan Issel wants the foul. Can't understand why the whistle didn't blow. Denver has the ball out. They lose 4 seconds. Nelson now chanting defense. And there's assignments. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Macon lofts it up for 3. Regained by Stith. Quickly puts it up. And no foul there. And the block. And that also was a quick release for Stith. Could have turned around and looked. And now Avery Johnson is fouled. And the Warriors, with 27 seconds to go, now have to start feeling good about things, with Avery Johnson taking a couple of foul shots. 5th foul on LaFonso Ellis. The Nuggets coming off a 29-point victory in Los Angeles, but leaving a lot of that on the Forum floor. You never could predict anything in the NBA. Golden State last night plays on their home floor and loses to Cleveland. And now come on the back-to-back situation, and they win on the road here in Denver. Well, they're 27 seconds away from that, and now have a 7-point lead. Dan Issel will talk it over, and a series of bad judgments is after career victory 755. Sprewell will have one more shot. Looking for his 19th point. for the 5th consecutive game high man for the Golden State Warriors. 104-96. Inside 20 seconds left in the game. Now, one of the rare uncontested stuffs. That's only Mutombo's 3rd field goal of the game. 104-98, and the Nuggets now will allow the Warriors to dribble out the clock. Both teams will be 2 and 3. Oh, making fouls them with 1:04 left in the second quarter. Well, there'll be some coaches of those fantasy leagues very happy about that foul. Avery Johnson not on Dan Issel's team.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult loss for Dan to take, even though it's early in the season. But you work hard to get that one on the road last night, and you basically just get it back with how you played here at home.
Big night for Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson doesn't generally put 17, 18 points on the board. He goes for number 18 right here. And Rauf lets it fly as the game comes to an end. A big disappointment for the young.
Second week.